There is a house down in New Orleans they call the Rising Sun, and it's there the ruin of many poor boys in God.
I first became interested in folk music. My dad was a really big Bob Dylan fan, Peter, Paul and Mary, Kingston Trio, and so I grew up listening to that kind of stuff. And back in those days, he was also the minister of a church, and so from an early age, I would sing along with that kind of stuff and play piano in church and guitar eventually. I haven't been to church in a long time, but I do play guitar and piano still. And still love folk music. I also play banjo, a little bit of mandolin. I like to play the drums, the bass guitar. There's a lot of exotic instruments that I haven't dabbled in that I would love to try someday, but slowly making my rounds on that. You know, Bob Dylan was one of the first songwriters that I really listened to religiously. In my younger years, there was, the rebellious stage where all I listened to was Nirvana and the Smashing Pumpkins and Pearl Jam. And, the older I've gone back to the folk music and to some of that roots country. And Willie Nelson is definitely one of my favorites. I've become a really big Deadhead. I listen to the Grateful Dead almost every day and have for about 20 years. Some of that other jam band stuff, Fish, and some of the bluegrass stuff. And I love old bluegrass. And I really listen to everything. I can hit shuffle on my phone and it's like Mozart, bluegrass, hip hop, it's all over the place. You know, the cool thing, folk music, there always seems to be a revival in folk music. Several years ago, it was people like Mumford and Sons and stuff like that. The Lumineers. And they come back and they make it relevant. There's a lot of really good bands like Camp that play a bluegrass style, jam band style. But I think songs like by Bob Dylan and stuff like that will never die. And people always continue to cover those and they evolve. And bands like I mentioned before, the Grateful Dead, they play, they have a large catalog of folk music and public domain stuff and old blues, that it's also materialized from folk. And I think that just the storytelling and the ability to incorporate those instruments into pop music, I think that it'll always, come back up, even if it does lose relevancy temporarily. My songs do certainly come naturally. I very rarely sit down with an idea for a song. There are so many issues that I would love to write about, but inspiration strikes when it strikes, I guess. And it usually just kind of floating around and I'll know that it's time to just grab a guitar or a pen or whatever. And once I do decide it's time to write a song, it's usually a 10, 15 minute thing. And, the older I get, I think more about, I try to be more socially conscious and there are so many, I love listening to that kind of stuff and I would like to write about it more, but it's more about, just relatable things like love and relationships and friendships and peace and all that kind of stuff. Well, I think you'd have to ask someone who's made it in the music industry. It's definitely my favorite thing to do. I've been really lucky where it's been my only job for the last several years, and it's not super fruitful. I'm not rich with it or anything, but it's my all-time favorite thing to do, and I literally get to travel and meet people and perform. And with COVID and all that, obviously, it's been difficult. That's the way I identify with people and really feel that people get to know me is when I'm able to sing to them and to play them songs that I've written. And I love to travel all over and do that. So it's been hard not being able to do that. And if music is something you want to do, I just say, just practice every day and just go out and do it and find a group of people that you like to play music with and find like-minded people and surround yourself with positivity, and you'll never have a day where you feel like you're doing something wrong if you spend it playing music with people. I'm from northern Minnesota, Brainerd. There's a lot of places around there where I'm really comfortable, home stages that I've been playing on for years, places I play several times a year, and I really like going back to some of those spots. But I really like the touring, and even if it's a larger tour with a couple bigger things set up, some of those small spots along the way, some of the best shows that I feel like, and some of my favorite shows I've played have been some of those smaller connecting gigs, just like on the way to, like, I have to play in Miami, so I'm gonna set up a couple here, and you'll play a little hole in the wall and you're not feeling it at all. I feel like the shows that I'm not feeling like at all are the ones that just come to amaze me, and like they just sneak up on you, and some of my favorite venues are just those little unassuming spots, and it's all about if the people are there to enjoy the music and they really listen to it and they're into it. I mean, that beats a large room full of people who couldn't care less, you know. It's pretty magical when that happens. Oh man, I can't even, there's been a lot of stuff. I mean, playing the bar scene for so many years, there's been a lot of weird stuff. Stuff happening on pool tables. I've seen people going to the bathroom indoors. Lots of crazy stuff. I mean, you get the guy that takes your microphone and wants to sing the rest of your set with you. So I mean, playing music on the road, I mean, you get those kinds of things every night. I don't think I can answer with one thing. I truthfully don't, but there's a lot of them. Yeah.